Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I hope that you are all doing well, and I pray that this message finds you well. But I am here today. I wanted to come forth and bring a testimony to you all, a testimony about a situation that had happened to me that was the starting point, the brink of my journey and my walk with Christ. My mother, may she rest in peace, she was a person who also had dreams. She used to dream a lot. She would come and tell me about her dreams that she had had. But this one particular dream that she had was about me. And the dream that she had kind of left her in a place of being distraught. And when she told me the dream, it kind of made me feel like, wow, really? Why would you have a dream like this about me? But then I didn't understand a lot of things that I do now. But she came to me and she told me the dream. And in the dream, she said that I was a little girl. She said I had to be no more than 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. And she said that she had got me all fixed up, put me on a pretty little sundress, had done my hair. Now, she really did come to me and tell me that she had pressed and combed my hair that morning and had got me a bath and put me on my little dress and had my little shoes on. It was summertime and everything was peaceful and quiet at the moment. And she said that I wanted to go outside. So it was a beautiful day. Birds were chirping. Everything was just at peace. So she let me go outside. And outside, she said everything was going just great. And she said all of a sudden, everything just kind of got still and quiet. And in that quiet and stillness, she said there was a little fear in her because this was different. Not just a peaceful feeling, but a more feeling that something was watching behind the scene. So she let me continue to play and, just went on about it. And she said all of a sudden there was this pit bull. This pit bull was walking. And she said it never even looked in my direction. It continued to walk and walk past me. And all of a sudden, she said it came and it darted for me. And I was unaware. And everything she said just kind of went in slow motion. And in that, she screamed. And she said when she screamed, words could not come out of her mouth. But as I was still continuing to play, this pit bull came up and lunged at me. It lunged at me and grabbed my throat with its teeth. And she said immediately it ripped my throat out. And at the moment, she said that there was a glass screen. Now, I know, back in the day, that they had the glass screens on the door. And there was a glass screen. And she said when she tried to go to the glass screen to open it to come out to help me, she couldn't. She couldn't come out. And she was beating on the window, on the glass window, and it would not budge, and she couldn't come out to get me. And she said I woke up. And she said, I cried, but she said, I went to God. And she said, when I went to the Lord, I prayed to him. And she said, I pleaded and I cried to him that please don't let anything happen to my baby. And Lord, I couldn't get to my baby, but I'm asking you that you protect my child. Be with my child and save her from this attack. That was in 1994. But I'm here to tell you, in November of 2012, I met my pit bull. My mom had passed away when I was 27 years old. And I had always been in the church. I sung in the church. I led choirs in the church. I did programs in the church. I was there every day. Monday prayer meeting, Wednesday Bible study, Friday youth, whatever. I was there and I did it. And I loved the Lord. He had always been in my heart. But when my mom passed away at 27, when I was 27, that really did something to me. And I got angry with God because I didn't understand why he would take my mom, something that she was so valuable to me. She was a friend. She was a good friend of mine. I consider my mom my best friend. And it really hurt me. And in that, I backslid and I turned away from God. See, at the age of 16 was also the year that I had accepted Christ as my personal Savior. So I had walked with God and just was there close. And in 2005, July of 2005, my mom had passed away and I was 27 years old. And I couldn't get over it. I was so distraught and hurt that I turned my back against God and I backslid. I backslid for 7 years. 7 whole years. He allowed me to go do what I wanted to do. Kind of almost like the prodigal son. You know, got my inheritance and left and went out and I chunked my deuces up and I say, I holler at you and Lord, I thank you. But that was my lack of understanding at the time. But everything was playing out according to what the dream that my mom had about me. And in November 2012, I had some issues to come up with me, some medical issues. I had an issue with with a thyroid. But before that happened, I had fell asleep at the wheel in my car. And thankfully, I was going 65 miles an hour, coming back home from work, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up to see what was happening, I was already in the process of flipping over. And I remember hearing a voice tell me, you need to pull over. But I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it. It's going to be all right. And anyway, I didn't. I had a accident going at 65 miles an hour. My car flipped over 4 times. But thanks be to God, I got out and I walked. And the only thing I had was a scratch over my head. That was the beginning of the process of the devil trying to take me out. I survived that accident. But soon after, I started getting real sick. And I got sick. And it plagued me for a while. And I went to the doctor and my doctor told me, he ran blood tests. And thank God for my doctor at the time. And he told me, he said, you know, your thyroid is bad. He said, it's really bad. Your T4 readings is very, very abnormal. I lost 30 pounds within a week. I had caught Graves' disease. Long story short, I had to have my thyroid removed. And this is what led to me to meet my pit bull on November 12th, 2012. I went and I had surgery. And the surgery procedure was to remove my thyroid. I had hypothyroidism and I had also had Graves' disease. And I had suffered with this disease for 2 years before I actually went and decided to get something done. It started just, my health was on a fast decline behind this. So I had got hooked up with a surgeon and got ready and we got everything done. Long story short, I got my thyroid removed. I came home a couple of days after that. And when I came home, I knew something was not right with my throat. not just complications from surgery, but I could tell something else was going on. Like I couldn't get my breath. Everything was swelling up, and I had called my doctor, and they were like, "Oh, this is normal from after the surgery. Just take your medicine and it will be fine." But on November the 12th, 2012, my pit bull came and he started ripping out my throat. Now that's spiritual, but the manifestation of that was that no one knew why what happened to me. But I'm sitting there in a chair, and all of a sudden my throat just closes shut. And immediately I'm like, okay, let me just sit up. Maybe I creased wrong, or I moved wrong. But I sat up, and when I sat up and I held my throat, I still couldn't get any air. Everything was shut off. Everything started racing in my head. And the first thing that came to me was, oh my God, if I don't get air, then I'm going to die. And as soon as I said that, I heard a voice. And it was in hysterical laughing. Just laughing hysterically, evilly. And I heard it say, "You are going to die. You are going to die. You are going to die." It kept saying it over and over and over again. And I remember being able to get up on my hands and knees and crawl to the couch. And I'm still hearing this voice, and I'm still grabbing for my throat, and my body is doing things that I can't even control. And I'm constantly hearing, "You are going to die. You are going to die." And I remember still getting all of my strength that I could have. And I remember crawling to the front door. And my dad happened to be standing outside. And I remember hitting my hand against the door, and I heard him turn around, and he looked at me, and he was shocked, and everything was going in slow-mo. And I heard him say, "What's wrong?" And after that, everything went black. It went black. But soon after that, just like a lightning bolt, there was a light. And this light appeared right in front of me. And it was a light so beautiful, I can't describe it. And I went years and years and years after that, still searching for that light. And I remember lifting up my hands as what I thought were my hands. And there were no hands. But I knew that they were there. And then this light, it came to me, and it came to my right side, and it started taking me up, lifting me up. And as I was going up, I was like, I looked down and I looked back, and I was like, oh, that's over with. I'm dead. All that is done. That life is over. And everything that I have felt in me, all the hate, the anger, the wrath, everything that I felt in me, it started to dissipate. And I immediately felt his love. His love that was so strong. His love that was so powerful. That nothing in this world or this earth could compare to what I felt. And I was so happy, and I was so overjoyed. And I can remember hearing things like it was a time warp. It was going woo, 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 woo. And I remember going up and going up and going up and looking and just being so full of love, encompassed with that light. And I looked over and I said, can I see my mother? And just like that, I woke up. But this time when I woke up, I was in the emergency room. I could see everyone around me scrambling, and they were trying to resuscitate me, putting tubes in me. I could see that. And I felt a tear come down my face. A tear. And then there was this doctor who was there at the time. He came to me and I felt him touch my hand. And he said to me, don't worry, you are going to be okay. And at that moment, I wasn't okay. That light that I saw was not there in front of me. And I was not floating to the top anymore. But I was back in the body that I thought I had left. And I cried. And I was angry. I was angry because I knew God had rescued me. I knew Jesus had came and he rescued me. But I didn't understand why he had allowed me to come back in that old body. And I never knew why. And just thinking back, I remember the scripture that I was given. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Jeremiah 29:11. And I didn't understand that for a long time. I didn't. But I wrote a poem about my experience. That experience that I will never forget. It will always be embedded in my heart. And I want you all to take this message, and I want you to test the spirit by the spirit. And just to know that God has a plan for your life, no matter what you are going through, no matter what you have been through. No matter what the devil tried to say about you, no matter how many times he tried to take you out, he can't, because that's not his job. His plan is to destroy us, but God, his plan is to give us life and life more abundantly. And I felt that in the moment that Jesus came and he touched my heart and he showed me that there was more to life than what I had been living. And in this poem that I wrote, it means so much to me, and it follows me to this very day, and I want to share it with you all. And the name of this poem is called an Epiphany, because that's what I had November 12th, 2012. I had an epiphany. The Lord got me from my pit. He saved me from the jaws of the pit bull. He saved me from the hands of the enemy. And I will always be grateful for that. But here's my poem, and it's called Epiphany. Powerful essence of overwhelming peace, magnifying, illuminated, guiding light. The sun nor moon could not equate the release of the divinity that shone so bright. Unconditional love, so wondrously strong, he wiped away all of my tears. Darkness encompassed as I drifted along with reverence. There was no need to fear. Electrifying ascension to the one well nigh. No candle lit burn for the radiance lit. Only that needed walk between he and I, and everything else seemed to fit. My being shouted out, chosen to serve for the call. My soul rejoiced in its own symphony as I traveled to share his love with all in my spiritual epiphany. I pray that this message blesses you all and that you all have a blessed day. Thank you, and God bless.